Welcome to the channel. My name is Matthias. Today we're talking about Amazing Spider-Man issue 207, written by Denny O'Neil. And I have to say that this story, it's pretty weird. It's probably the first and only time we have Spider-Man going toe-to-toe against Mesmero. He's actually an old school X-Men villain. He has mind control powers, but at the beginning of the story, he's trying to make an honest living. He has a theater show, and he uses his powers to hypnotize people and make them do weird and silly things. All the things that he makes these people do are pretty silly or maybe in poor taste. In one of these shows that he's putting on, Peter Parker actually goes there with his girlfriend of that time. And Pete is pretty uncomfortable during the whole show. He sort of feels like what Mesmero is doing is almost in bad faith. And what happens is he realizes that a small little fire breaks out on the stage. Mesmero doesn't realize what's going on. So Peter takes advantage of the fact that everyone's looking at the stage. So he jumps to the roof and uses his webbing to extinguish the flames. No one realizes that Spider-Man saves the day but Mesmero, because he finds little leftovers of Spider-Man's webbing on the stage. And what happens next is so weird, because later in the day, Peter, as Spider-Man, goes and visits Mesmero and actually offers Mesmero to have a two-man show. It is so weird. It's pretty funny to see Peter Parker willing to work with this ex-criminal, because another thing is that he's totally aware that Mesmero was an X-Men villain. He must be really needing some cash during this time. And I actually double-checked twice to make sure that Peter Parker is the one that actually offers to do the show and not Mesmero. So what happens is Spider-Man and Mesmero decide that they're going to iron things out the next day. But what happens is Mesmero just really loses his shit, because in all the local newspapers, he's having these terrible reviews. Things are so bad for Mesmero that he decides to go pay a visit to one of his reviewers. He uses his powers on him and makes him want to unalive himself. Spider-Man saves this guy just in the nick of time before he jumps off the bridge. He immediately realizes that this is Mesmero's handiwork. So what happens is Spider-Man goes to confront Mesmero, and obviously the villain is livid over the fact that Spider-Man betrayed him, saved this critic's life. So at this moment of the story, Mesmero has already kidnapped 3 other critics. He creates this elaborate death trap, and the really odd thing is that he never tries to use his powers on Spider-Man. He douses Spider-Man and the critics and the whole place with gasoline. He forces Spider-Man to juggle these explosive balls, and if anyone drops on the floor, everyone dies. Then he hypnotizes the critics to attack Spider-Man and force him to drop these explosive balls. Everything's overly complicated in the story. And Spidey surprisingly uses common sense. He decides to directly throw the balls at the roof. They explode up there. He clobbers the bad guy, and again, I don't understand why Mesmero never uses his powers. Obviously, he saves the critics, he saves the day. So this one-shot issue feels very old school, very comic booky, if it makes any sense, where you get these pretty crazy and over-the-top situations that feel pretty convoluted, but they're fun to read. So I'm going to leave this video here. I hope you guys liked it. See you guys next time. Bye.